Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and we got once again Austin, the Day Ghost.
I'm here. Cap, do you really want to taste it?
Yeah, you know what? The whole idea is I haven't seen this yet, so you gotta stop quoting stuff from it. I don't know what we're talking about.
What? No, but
Is that from this?
That is the question this whole show asks you: is do you want to taste it? So,
Is it?
yes.
I don't have an answer yet. I don't even know if I want to watch this.
All I know is by the end of
No,
it,
I
you'll
do.
be doing this.
Even Hayden said it too. It's like I just set myself up for inside jokes that I'm not gonna appreciate.
Oh, you'll get it right away. Don't worry.
Oh, good. I'm
You'll
so
get
excited.
it within the first 5 minutes.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying that I've had a really friggin' weird week. And I was supposed to do a rewind commentary for the Suicide Squad on Monday. And I was fighting YouTube and having all kinds of issues. And since then, as I have announced, I've decided to step back a little bit and do less programming. And I'm restructuring how I'm doing the rewind commentaries. And I'm going to bring Austin on. And we're going to hope that Austin doesn't F him up. But no, he's going to be great. It's going to be
What an a-hole.
He's going to be wonderful. Anyway, all of that to say, I was mostly prepared for that show and all raring to go, and hopefully I can keep a lot of the things I wanted to say in my head up until next week when we actually do that commentary, because Austin and I are going to do that next Friday. This Friday, Austin's got too much going on, and I'm going to go ahead and see Guardians that night, so that is going to be tabled to next week. So, weird order we're doing this in, because I was supposed to have already done that, but I never actually watched any of Peacemaker, and I felt a little bit weird going into that review, or into that commentary, not having seen any of this show, and not knowing any of Peacemaker's background or anything. Like, all I know is that is more fleshed out, and there's stuff with his father, and that it ultimately makes sense why he has the worldview he has. You don't have any of that in that movie, which I honestly kind of enjoyed in that movie. That, like, you can tell with Austin, with everything else that's going on with all of these other characters and their bad parents and becoming kind of broken people and like perceived monsters because of the way they were raised. I mean, clearly something happened to Peacemaker, and he just doesn't have any opportunity or any reason to explain it to anybody in the movie. Like, I think it works great in that film.
No, I agree. I can't remember if it's this episode or next episode, but there's a really good scene with him and his dad where you see that, like, they can only relate to each other in terms of violence, where, like, they try to have, like, a conversation and they just can't do it. And then he goes, hey, Dad, in this mission I just did, there was this guy who was afraid of rats because he was tortured by his dad. And they both laugh and they're like, haha, like, that's really funny. And you kind of see that's, like, the only way they can relate to each other. And it's really cool. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, I didn't realize I muted myself. Wow. God, you talked for so long just now. No, you didn't at all. I don't know what that was. I was just gonna say that sometimes these characters that are like super disturbing because they I don't even realize how messed up their ideology or worldview is can be really entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, the key is you just want a character that, like, you can believe and still enjoy. They don't necessarily have to be sympathetic. So you can have stuff like that, you know, where it's very messed up and you go like, oh man, this guy's crazy.
And seeing the world through that lens, there's a novelty to that because it's so foreign and so far removed from your own, and it's a catharsis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw an interview with the guy playing High Evolutionary who's in the show, and we'll see him in this episode.
Because Gunn's one of those directors that just uses everybody again.
Yeah, exactly. And he talked about that with playing that character, where he said almost exactly what you just said, where it's like, as an actor, you like find a piece of yourself that you don't actually get to experience.
Yeah,
through playing like that kind of a messed up person
in a safe environment, and you know it's legal. And the only risk you're taking is if you tap into that too much. Like, does it affect you personally on too deep of a level? And I think if you play that kind of a character for too long, it can be a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
And
let's go ahead and do this. I'm sitting here analyzing a character I don't even know enough about to to really discuss. But we're going to just watch the first episode. It's going to be a reaction video. And Austin, feel free to jump in and say whatever you want to while we go through. I'm gonna really pay as much attention as humanly possible, and I'm just gonna watch this, and I'll respond to things and mention stuff I'm finding amusing or whatever, and you'll see me basically just go and that was fun and whatever. The thing I am most looking for, so I've actually been thinking about doing this for a long time because I didn't really care about seeing this show when it came out. I was like, I know eventually I'll watch this, but I just couldn't get in the mood for it. It took me, I will admit this now, and then we'll talk about it again next week, but I'll go and reveal this now. It took me 4 viewings before I actually appreciated the Suicide Squad. Not my thing, was not just in the headspace for that kind of thing when it first came out, and I had to keep watching it. And I don't know if I got indoctrinated or if it just clicked.
You got a Starro on you.
Yeah, exactly. We're that's why I did that thumbnail. But I feel like I finally get it now. And even that first hour, which kind of put me off initially, I'm finding a lot more stuff in that I'm like, oh no, this is pretty good all the way through. I still don't love it because it's just not for me. But I get it now. I appreciate it now.
Yeah, because I know.
I feel like now is the time to finally look at the show.
Yeah, while you're in that headspace, absolutely. Yeah, I know when it came out, one of your things was it's very cynical in the same way that something like Super is, and I was always I don't have that. To me, it's just R-rated Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So have you kind of gotten out of that a little bit more
as
you've seen
it? No,
I
totally have, but I think it took a while to get what it was after, character-wise and thematically.
Yeah, for sure.
And to really find the humanity in some of those characters in the first hour. Because a lot more of it clicked in the second hour, but I kept going, I don't know why this would grab anybody. Mm-hmm. And I finally found it later, but I still feel weird about it because it took me 4 times before I understood why anybody else was appreciating it in that. I think we'll watch Peacemaker here in a second, and all of this will come up again next week. But Austin, I think a lot of it was because it didn't grab me right away. There were twists and turns and surprises that went completely over my head.
Yeah, and I mean, that happens when you're not engaged, right? When you're not engaged, you're not necessarily picking up everything. But if you are immediately, I was I like this team, I'm excited to see what he does with it. So I came in kind of expecting to be engaged. I'm kind of with it from the beginning while you weren't. So you kind of had more of that separation.
I was expecting something far more tonally different from the first movie, and I didn't feel like it was different enough first time out, which feels weird to say now that I'm getting it more, I'm with it more. Now it's just another James Gunn movie, but I was coming off of what I wasn't trusting that it wasn't just that first movie again. In certain ways, which I know sounds weird, and I going into it, I was like, well, it's James Gunn, it's not going to be anything like that. And then I was seeing too much of that in it, I thought. Yeah. And I was missing things I feel weird even admitting this, but again, like you say, I wasn't engaged, so I wasn't catching stuff. I was missing what the point of introducing 2 squads even was, and it in the first place, and I missed the first squad being cannon fodder, and that being what the explosion was in the background. I thought there was a double beat in introducing characters. I just wasn't. I didn't understand why we were looking at any of what we were looking at. Yeah.
When I think, especially on a first viewing, it's easy to look at that in the same way as the X Factor thing from Deadpool 2, which is entirely just LOL, isn't it funny? We set up all these characters to die.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to go into it thinking that on a first viewing.
But anyway, so I'm going to watch Peacemaker, and Austin's going to watch it. And Austin is intimately familiar with the show, and I haven't seen it at all yet.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 or 4 times now at this point. I've seen the show quite a few times.
I will say the thing going into this that I'm most excited about and curious about is Vigilante.
Because... And I don't think he's really in this episode.
Okay, but I'll continue watching it later. And then
I think he has a cameo in this one, but I want to say it's either episode 2 or episode 3 that he becomes a main part of the cast. It might be 3. But I think he's a cameo in this episode.
I'm curious to see how much he's like Overkill from the Tick.
Oh, Vigilante?
Yes.
Not at all. Vigilante's like completely reworked. He's like nothing like the kind of comic book character that he is.
No, I know, I'm aware of that, but I'm expecting there to be a pretty clear direct comparison to make with that and Overkill and the Tick, like in the Amazon show. Like I assume that he is like that but jokier.
I don't know. Just because I've never really thought about that, but I don't really see them as very comparable.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Vigilante to me in the show is Jeffrey Dahmer if he put on a mask and thought he was a superhero.
Yeah.
And he's very comic book Deadpool. Like I feel like Vigilante in this show is more of what I wish Deadpool was in the movies.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, let's do it. Here we go. Don't expect a lot of insights from me. I'm just watching Peacemaker. If you want to watch it with us, and I suggest that you do that, pull up HBO Max, or if you have it on disc, grab those, of course. Timestamp for us on HBO Max, it's going to be, timestamp 40 seconds.
Yeah, you want to get right before there's like a little purple bubbly intro that says HBO Max.
Yeah, because
original.
There's an ad at the beginning and a different HBO logo right before that. So get past that stuff. And if you're watching it on disc, it will be timestamp 0. All right, here we go, guys. I'm trying not to pull my projector down. Okay. Everybody, please give me a second.
At least we gave enough preamble to let people get it on.
That's part of the reason that I do that. Sometimes after the fact, people will be like, "Why did you talk this long?" Well, we're doing it live, and we want people to be able to get in. Okay, here is my timer. Everybody, please press play right now.
HBO Max original. Previously on.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, do we have to start over?
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
I'm having audio issues with this. Hang on. Okay, yeah, just get it back to the right timestamp. This time for sure, folks. I just wasted another 43 seconds. Okay.
Cap really wants to taste it. That's what I'm getting here.
It's interesting that we've got Walla right at the beginning of this because I know she's not in much of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Previously on a movie.
Oh, did you already hit start?
Well, no, I was looking at it for a second.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Sorry. Everybody, please press play right now. We've gone off the rails before anything has happened. Oh, I forgot he had a name.
Yeah, Christopher Smith. Oh, we just cut around Ostrander's cameo.
I didn't even know that was Ostrander until I listened to Gunn's commentary.
Yeah, that's such a good cameo that he gets to be the one that puts the bomb in.
So, I kind of have issues with the fact that you would still think Peacemaker was dead if you didn't sit all the way through all of the credits.
Yeah. When I remember early on there was talk that this was maybe a prequel, so I was like, oh, I guess he just is dead until we got to the end of the credits.
I thought it was a prequel for the longest time, but that ending is clearly setting up this show because it's like, oh, we got to bring him in to save the world. Like it's.
Yeah, and that other post-credit scene, which I think is just a joke when this movie comes out, is I guess now set up for Creature Commandos because Weasel's in that.
Oh, the mid-credits.
Yeah. I also think the Waller show will probably have the Rick Flag Sr. versus Peacemaker fight, because that Rick Flag Sr.'s in that.
He has weird priorities. I had to turn subtitles on, and stupid HBO Max makes you pause the thing when you do that, so I'm now going to be like 3 seconds behind you.
Oh, here, I'll pause for
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Just so everybody knows, I'm going to be like 3 seconds. So if everybody wouldn't mind pausing for like 2 or 3 seconds. Sorry about that.
That's okay, I just did it.
Okay, so does Gunn direct all of this, or just the pilot, or
He directs every episode except like 2 or 3, and he writes every episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And immediately after that movie, I don't know how he does that. That's wild.
I know, it's crazy, man. That guy doesn't sleep.
You definitely shouldn't trust Peacemaker, because he might think you need to die for the sake of peace. So we are very on point with the tone of Suicide Squad so far. Like, this feels like just more of that
Just
right
a
now.
natural extension, yeah.
Well, we've had an F-bomb 6 times already. The camera's in exactly the same places it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this feels super, like, messed with for TV, you know? Like, I don't feel like it's, like, a drastic,
like,
downgrade.
drop in quality, or, like,
Yeah.
how much money is being thrown at it.
Yeah. So this is a running joke that Peacemaker just, like, hears all these weird conspiracies about superheroes.
It's gonna be weird when they start bringing up characters in a different context that Gunn thinks about differently than the way we've seen them in DCEU.
Yeah.
Because that happens a little bit in the movie. Like,
Yeah. Oh, there's quite a bit of that. Especially
whenever we bring
later
up
when we talk
Superman,
about
I'm
Batman.
like, he's not talking about the Superman we've seen before.
Yeah. No, and you get stuff like when they talk about Batmite later. It's like Ben Affleck's Batman does not have a Batmite.
I actually think this might sound weird coming from me.
Yeah.
I actually think it's smart of Gunn to get, like, racy political stuff in front right away, just to say, I'm not scared to talk about anything.
Yeah. No, and one of the main bad guys in this is basically a Klansman, so like it's not afraid to go to places. And I remember, because I think this comes out like just a little bit after Falcon.
Because that doesn't
and Winter Soldier.
come off like it's pandering to anybody. It's just like,
No.
look, you might find things offensive. Deal with it. Like,
Yeah.
don't
No, and I
setting
when
up
this
tone.
came
Don't
out-
deal with this. Don't watch it if you don't want to watch it. Like,
Yeah. No, when this came out, I was like, oh, this is dealing with some of the stuff I was asking for with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where we're talking
Wow.
about some of this stuff. So, like, thank you. It's not, like, entirely about that, like, that show should have been, but, like, he's not afraid to talk about it, like that show is. Okay, Cav, get ready for the magic.
oh boy. I will talk about this next week, but one of the things I really latched onto with Peacemaker visually is just the idea of the upside down dove.
Oh, yeah. That was my reaction when Cap asked me to do this, by the way.
Oh, that's the intro song. That's why everybody's saying that. So this is gonna have an honest to God intro.
Yep.
It's not gonna be 20 seconds, right?
Yep.
Well, it's guns, so of course he's doing this.
And it's a wonderful intro. It should be a crime.
What is this dance?
Oh, wait till you see Robert Patrick dance, dude.
Oh my God! Somebody mentioned that. Oh, and they've got John dancing. John, what's his name?
Sandoval?
No. The
I thought you were talking about John, like on the
no,
channel.
the character.
Economos.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's his wife is the blonde woman, and of course you have High Evolutionary.
I mean, everybody's asking me if I want to taste it. I don't know if I want to taste it, but I'm kind of hungry. Who's this guy? Oh no, that is Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't
this is
awesome?
the way you're introduced to some of these characters that haven't even been on screen yet.
Yeah. And that janitor has like 2 scenes in the show, and he's in the intro.
I don't know how big this show gets in the... There's an eagle!
Yeah, and he's got to look down to check his cue because he hit the wrong mark.
And the eagle represented freedom. No, I was just going to say, I like the minimalism of that. Because it's almost saying, like, maybe don't expect too much, but then you could subvert that if you wanted to. Like I said, I don't know how big this gets.
Yeah, and they're not hiding that that's just like a soundstage. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but it might be intentionally misleading, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that is a line of dialogue I've never heard anything. And also, I just have a mental image now, and then they just said Octopussy. Of course they did. And
of course, it's Bond, baby.
I am uncomfortable. And I expected to be uncomfortable. So that's fine. I know this woman from something.
Which one?
The lady with the nose ring.
Oh, I'm not sure. We've seen her in something.
Oh, what have I seen her in? And and have you ever had this where it's like, I know you and I know I liked you in something.
Yeah.
I know there's a performance that I really dug her with. I just can't think of what it was. I don't know if it was science fiction. I don't know if I have no idea what kind of show it was.
Yeah, I don't know because I think I've only seen her in this show.
It's something. Welcome if you're just tuning in. I'm watching Peacemaker. I've never seen this.
Cap really wants to taste it, is what we've learned so far.
You gotta stop saying I'm hungry. But I'm like disturbed at the same time, so it's like I'm grossed out, but then I want to eat something, and so it's just like...
I'm so glad I got to see a reaction to the Peacemaker intro. It's so good.
I really like that he just did not a traditional opening, because it's weird and random and hilarious and just a bizarre music video. Mm-hmm. But I like that he's not trying to open this the way he opens a lot of his movies.
Yeah. No,
like
I like that, and I like that it's not just the TV show thing of now, just like Peacemaker, and then it's, you get into it.
So it's still about music because he loves doing that.
Yeah.
But it isn't, it's still his let's have a big bombastic musical opening, but it's traditional in that it's a TV opening still.
Well, I feel like this is the closest to him recreating an intro, and that I feel like it's a live action version of the Super, like the animated intro that he does.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Because I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. I try not to think about that movie if I can help it.
No, I feel like...
Is that an Elvis squirrel? That is an Elvis squirrel.
No, I feel like in certain ways there's ways in which the elements of the show are him doing Super again now that he's learned stuff from doing Guardians and the Suicide Squad. Like, I feel like Vigilante is him redoing the sidekick character from Super, but a lot better.
You know, Hayden, maybe I will have Jason teach me that dance, because I feel like I could show Jason the intro to this show and nothing else, but the intro.
All you gotta do is the, like...
I feel like I could do that. Okay, so I'm sorry. Is he breaking into his own house right now, or?
Yeah, he can't find his key, so he's got to break in.
I've had days like that. Not like shatter my own glass days, but
Yeah. Now, it sucks when you have to break into your trailer. I love that he has just a trailer that's just the American flag.
yeah, that's great. I also like the idea of having a character that, by contrast with somebody else like Flag, is really fascinating on paper, but is still kind of a blank slate. Like we don't get anything personally about him at all in that movie.
Mm-hmm. No, like you said, I think it really works for that movie. Like we don't really need a ton more. Oh, here's Vigilante.
Yeah. Is it all we get though? Is just his voice?
No, he has a maskless cameo later in this episode.
I've always been a huge fan of that costume. I always liked Vigilante in the comics.
So good. Yeah.
But I don't know a ton about Vigilante. It's just when I was a kid, I always thought he was cool. Mm-hmm. And they've got him in the Arrowverse and not super cool. He's okay.
Yeah, I've heard he's not great in Arrowverse. I mean, his costume sucks in that.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I'm rusty. I feel like there were maybe 2 of them in different universes or something.
Oh, okay. Well, there's multiple Vigilantes.
Like maybe there's a Supergirl one that changed. I can't remember anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, there's multiple Vigilantes in the comics. That makes sense.
Brian Cap, are you getting any of the Keaton Flash figures or merchandise? McFarlane is putting out some good stuff. I'm not a big fan of that costume the more I'm looking at it, so I don't know if I'm going to buy any of that stuff. I did get the Halloween costume from one of my kids because I thought it was hilarious that they released that as Batman '89. I had to have that just to keep the packaging. Yes, they're treating this as a direct sequel, and of course we knew that these 2 characters would be major in this because of the way they're setting this up at the end of that.
Yep.
I've known this guy or I've seen this guy and stuff too.
Yeah, this is High Evolutionary.
Okay. Are they going to make a joke about him being like high all the time? Are they going to go there?
Who?
He's the High Evolutionary.
Oh, probably not. Maybe.
Why would you eat anything in that guy's fridge?
Dude, those are 4-year-old olives.
What do I know her from? It's gonna drive me crazy.
Here, I'll look her up.
Oh, it's gonna drive me freaking crazy. Maybe it was a movie. I don't know. I think Economos is the coolest last name anybody's ever had.
What I love about Guns.
Good job, Austrian dude.
Character is that it's like it's not exactly what he is because he's made to be like a giant P-word by Gunn.
Yes,
but it's also not entirely wrong. Like he kind of is. It feels like Gunn
he's being the character is being made fun of by the new version of the character.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, did you watch Orange is the New Black?
That's what it was.
That seems to be like the main thing.
I did see the first season of that show. That's what it. Yeah, there you go. I never would have come up with that either because I haven't seen that in a million years.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not going to be a Mothra. They don't have the rights to that. Oh. Good call. Why did that not even occur to me?
Oh, that he would still have the bomb?
Yeah. Like, of course.
Yeah.
So there's this brand of humor that never really lands for me that Gunn does sometimes that I just seen a lot of stuff lately that's just like make fun of people's facial hair or hairstyle no matter what it is that just I never get where it's like, yep, that guy's got a beard. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, that becomes like a character thing later on that he makes fun of him for dyeing his beard. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
He's just coming dangerously close to a guy that's going to start talking about leg day. And
don't worry, we don't have any of that.
I need to not hear leg day again. There's so many flags, which I should have expected coming into this, of course. He's supposed to be the perverse, exaggerated take on the stereotypical America guy. Why make up a person with such a long name? Okay, do you do this with house numbers? If I see a house number, I assume it means something, especially if there's a close-up on it. What is 986? It's probably something.
Probably something somewhere.
Probably something. May have to do with comics, may have to do with... So... We always have to go to that guy.
To Alex Jones?
Yeah.
It makes sense for this character. Like, this character would listen to Alex Jones, but I do agree. Like,
yeah, but that guy's not even on air anymore. Like,
it annoys me a lot more with Jameson. But
with what now?
With Jameson and Spider-Man.
Why does that bother you more? Just because it's Jameson?
Just because we boiled that character down to just being Alex Jones.
But I just feel like, yeah, and that's fair. But whenever I see it in anything now, I'm like, it's outdated.
No, and I agree with that.
That guy's not relevant now. I mean, you could make the argument that he is in the sense that, like, a bunch of people paid attention to that guy and got him fired up, and he seems like a crazy person. I don't want to get political or anything, but just he seems like a crazy person to me. So I knew he was in this show, but I didn't know that he played the dad?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's really good in it.
Eagly. He has an actual eagle. It's not just from the intro.
Nope. It's eagly.
Wow. Razzie says that Alex Jones still has a popular internet show. Okay, I thought that being, like, booted off of YouTube and everything and... I didn't know if anybody was still watching that guy. He's being hugged by a bald eagle. How do you feel the CG is here? It's not the worst.
So I had never believed that Eagly's on is actually there, but I don't really care. Like it's the type of thing where it's the CGI I don't think is amazing, but I like the show well enough that it's not a big deal.
Sometimes with things like that, it sort of feels like it's part of the joke, but then you're only saying that if you're liking it, right? It's like, am I giving it a pass when I'm saying that just because I like the idea or the person making it or whatever? So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the type of thing that if you don't like it, you'll be like, look how bad that eagle looks. But if you are liking the show, you'll be like, it's fine.
Connor says he really likes the Suicide Squad, but thinks the show sucks.
Yeah, Connor hates the show and he's wrong, but that's okay. It's okay.
We can still be friends with Connor. I mean, I don't know if I like the show because I'm just now watching it, so, you know. It's not, though. It's not great, but it can't be the worst, you know. Like, I don't think the roof is leaking. Frazzy says the CG is good enough. General battle effects and explosions and such later on are pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There's a thing later on that's CGI that looks really good in the last episode.
I just want to take this opportunity to say it's so weird this show even exists.
I
Like,
know, right?
you take this random character that nobody had ever heard of, he gets his own show.
Yeah, and it's Grant Morrison's favorite comic book show, which shocked me. Oh, have a good
Really?
night, Connor.
Bye, Connor. I hope we see you on Sunday to talk about Guardians 3.
Yeah, this is the scene I was talking about where it's like this is like the only way they can relate to each other. And like it's so messed up.
Yeah.
Even Eagly's laughing.
Well, I guess the one thing we knew about him in that movie is that his father raised him with military like skills and knowledge from an early age, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just remembered that part.
And there we get the first slur because
Oh,
not afraid to go there.
I missed it.
He called him the F word. The other F word.
I want to know how much improvisation he's doing in his own show, because like some quarter, half of what he says in that movie is on the spot.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. I know Gunn will do like the scripted takes, and then like afterwards he'll say, "Okay, now do whatever you want to do," and he'll let the actors improv.
But
So
with that movie, it seemed like there was a lot more improvising happening than on the Guardians movies.
maybe it's hard to say. I don't have like a good sense of what's actual like written by Gunn and what's
Well,
improv.
I just wonder it with a show like this because, like, he's on screen a lot more,
Mhm.
and he's driving, yeah, obviously a lot more of the story. And
Yeah.
when you look at the blooper reel and uh, deleted scenes and things with the Suicide Squad, like, it becomes really clear that there was a bunch of just riffing and trying stuff
Mhm.
in a way that he doesn't do as often in other things.
Yeah, well, that's what all of the post-credit scenes for the show is. They're all just like an extended improv bit from the episode.
Robert says, I love what they do with all the different helmets in this show. I didn't even realize he was going to have different helmets.
Yeah, yeah, and they all do different things. Like they
Oh,
all
that's
have
interesting.
different abilities.
Do they all look different?
Yeah, they all have slight differences. So I think the one that he has here has like blue highlights on the side.
I also think that they were
Oh,
really
it's got
smart.
blue highlights like that.
Oh. And it does look a little bit less like a toilet seat cover. I think they were really smart in setting up the premise for this show where you wouldn't spend the whole time going, okay, it's lame Waller's not here, or why isn't she here?
Mhm. Yeah, it's supposed to be they're even more secretive than the Suicide Squad because of what they're dealing with.
And that she's punishing them
Mhm. Yeah,
for going against her. And I mean, that was basically a full-on mutiny. And I
Yeah.
know that the woman that hits her in the head was supposed to get arrested at the end of the movie.
yeah, she does get arrested.
But you don't
at
actually
that-
see it happen, right?
Yeah, no, you do.
In the movie?
Yeah, it's very quick. Like it happens. Very quick.
Oh, I think there was a longer scene then.
That character in the comics is well, her character is Flo, but in the comics they're actually related, which is kind of funny.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, they're cousins. That is the character that then brings in Oracle. Like, that's the kind of connective tissue.
Oh, interesting. That guy doesn't know how to do that, though.
There's my boy. There's Vigilante.
He was board offensive. That's a weird name.
What, Adrian Chase?
Gut Chase.
Oh, it's Adrian Chase.
Oh, he just said that, and I was like, if that's not a made-up name, that's a weird name. I'm wondering if I'm going to have the same thing with this that I did with the Suicide Squad, where I'm going to have to watch it 4 times. Because right now I'm appreciating the consistency in tone and look and stuff. It is already finding its own way to some degree, but like, it's a lot of people being really offensive and saying a whole lot of unfortunate language, and this is very unfortunate.
It's my boy Vigilante. I love this bit.
Oh wait, that is Vigilante?
Yeah, this is him out of costume.
Oh,
This is his cameo in the episode.
Quite a choice. I mean, this guy could have played the Batman Riddler.
He could have, yeah.
What? I don't know if I want to watch this. I don't know if I've ever had this as much with another creator where like I really expect the way Gunn tells a story, but his sensibilities are way opposite from mine much of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's fair.
No, I saw it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen. There was an eagle and it hugged him.
Yeah. Yeah, believing it happened is believing in miracles.
Oh, you don't even want to mess around with that. You don't know what that guy will do. He's thorough! Yeah, Robert, I like the Harley Quinn show too. I don't care what Austin says.
Oh, yeah, that show sucks.
There's some really clever stuff in that. And it gets super raunchy too, but I can look past it because it's fun.
To be fair, I've only seen the first few episodes of season 2.
I mean, there's some stuff I don't like, of course.
So maybe it drops off. I don't know.
You watched 2 without seeing 1?
Yeah, well, it was like my uncle put it on. And he was like, check this out. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is like unbearable.
That's probably not the way to be introduced to that show, but... And I didn't like the pilot at all, and then I thought it picked up immediately after that.
Yeah, yeah. My thing with it was just that like every character had like one joke, and it was like, okay, like hit that over and over again.
I think a couple characters have that problem. I don't think everybody does.
Yeah. That show also like finally killed the Bane voice for me, where I was like, I think I'm done with the Bane voice jokes. I don't know if you
I don't
have
know.
this.
They wrote fun things to it, and he's not there all the time.
I don't know if you have this, but like I find with stuff like that, it's funny when it's the fans talking, and then the second it becomes like official stuff, it like stops being funny. But it also helps with that.
I don't always have
like,
that because sometimes it's, if you can tell that it's official but fans also writing it, then it's the same thing.
well,
Like
it depends what it is. So.
I thought it was funny in the Lego Batman movie when he's
But
trying to build a bookcase. Like
I thought it was funny there, but like I don't know. It's also been like 4 years since that came out. Like it's also I don't know. Like it's the fact that we're still doing it. Part of it too is I think it's like one of the worst Bane impressions I've ever heard. He just sounds like Mr. Magoo.
I don't think stroking women's arms is the way to get them to like you.
Dude, I do that all the time. It works out.
It's never worked for me. Okay, I always do this. I have to know what that arcade machine is in the background. I want to know.
Galaga, of course.
It's not. It's probably a fighter. Now I want to eat something and have alcohol.
You really want to taste.
I want to taste it. That song. Now, is that a song written for this, or did he find that?
No, that's a Swedish metal band.
Is it?
Yeah, they got dropped by their agency like right before the show came out, and then the show came out and that song like took off huge.
Wow, her
so
last name is
good for them.
Hardcourt. Which is Mud's first name in TOS. Hardcourt Fenton Mudd.
What a crazy name.
He's got a crazy name.
Why make up a name that's so long?
Oh, because he relates to violence.
Oh yeah, Denny's been in prison for 4 years, so he's like, hell yeah, women.
Sure. He was already kind of into her, but now he's very into her. And the irony is that he's Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I understand what we're getting at here.
I get it.
I understand your show, James Gunn. That is true. Those things are not mutually exclusive. They're going to be very close friends by the end of the show.
That's what I want to know.
I predict they're either going to have this massive mutual respect for each other by the end of the show, or they'll be sleeping together by the beginning of next episode. One of those two things.
Yeah, it's more the mutual respect part.
Okay, so I don't want to sound insensitive when I say this.
Yeah.
But when I see a female character that acts like that in this situation, my response is usually, well, I don't know, why don't you go someplace that doesn't have a bunch of like D-bag guys at, right? Like maybe this bar is not the place to go have a drink, you know what I mean? You're just in the wrong place. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's who knows with like bars. I don't know.
Yeah, like there's a-holy guys that suck that are always in places like that. This is if you want to be someplace peaceful, don't go there, and don't go where Peacemaker is.
That's where it should.
Also,
because he'll make it peaceful. But that character is definitely supposed to be uptight.
Yeah, sure. Hey, look, it's Waller. She has a cameo. on a.
How many times has Viola Davis done a Skype cameo?
Hey, did you see that? It says Wayne Enterprises on it.
Yeah.
Because it's a DC universe. It's the DCEU that Gunn probably wishes he didn't have to work in.
And then they were like, "Do you want to take over?" And he was like, "Thank God, I can throw it all away."
DNA, yeah, we're just watching their first episode, and I haven't seen this yet.
Oh yeah, we don't have enough time to watch the whole show.
No, we do a lot of long streams like that, but that's not going to be tonight.
Yeah, it's not something you do on a Wednesday and after a already hour show.
Right.
Yeah, so this is
Oh,
Waller's
that's
daughter.
actually her mom.
Yeah.
Is that actually a reveal in that scene, or did I talk over something earlier?
No, that's the actual reveal in that scene.
I'm just making sure, because
Yeah.
I'm only ever 60% watching something I'm blind watching.
Yeah, no, we're talking. No, so that's Waller's daughter, and it's she's just like a normal person that Waller's kind of trying to shape into being more like her. So it took me a while, but I really like the soundtrack to this show. Like I didn't gravitate to it as fast as I do some of his other stuff, because it's all like metal songs. So it's not like a big genre I'm into. But I've listened to it quite a bit, and I like the soundtrack to this show.
I gotta say, I was actually a little bit surprised by that nudity a couple seasons ago.
Oh yeah,
Just because we don't do a great deal of that anymore.
yeah, and I feel like that's kind of it for this. I don't think there's like a ton of that. And there's a little bit.
I'm not
of
saying,
nudity.
yay, I need more of that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I
I
was a
know.
little surprised to see it.
There's a little bit of it in the Suicide Squad. It's very like blink and you miss it.
Well,
It's not
got
gratuitous.
it got the nudity hit in the R-rated listings for male nudity, actually.
Yeah, it's in the part where they're doing their kill off thing. I think Bloodsport shoots a guy who's just wearing a shirt.
Yep.
And then there's when they're leaving the bar, there's like boobs for like 5 seconds.
That is a weird line. Boy, I'm having exactly the same thing I did with the first time I saw the Suicide Squad right now, where I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to watch enough of this before I realize why anybody's watching the show. Like, don't get me wrong, there's bits and pieces that I'm finding kind of interesting, but if all things being equal, if I don't have like Austin telling me how great the show is and other people, like, I'm probably not watching this past this pilot.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
I kind of saw that coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I kind of figured this is gonna be like a Bond situation with a girl he sleeps with that tries to kill him right afterwards.
Yeah, this is our first introduction
Is
to the butterflies.
that a monster? Oh.
Yeah. So they're like a
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. She's got like a lion growl.
yeah. No, it's like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers plot. I don't know why, but just throwing things at people is like inherently funny to me.
Yeah, I think you appreciate some slapstick sometimes in a way that I don't.
Yeah. No, I have that.
I'm not saying that stuff is never funny,
Yeah.
but
No,
I think
I have
that's more your brand.
with Daredevil season 3. I have a hard time taking Bullseye seriously because every time he throws something, it's always funny.
Okay, DNA, I'll give it at least 3 then. He said he almost quit after 2 episodes, and then it won him over with 3.
Oh, okay, interesting. I can kind of see that, like, as you're getting more into this stuff.
That looked good.
Yeah, no, I think overall the show looks really good. There's some stunt stuff like that that looks really good for TV. Like, I don't have even the Marvel Netflix thing with this show where, oh, we can only go to hallway fights because we can't afford anything else.
Superhero landing. They're doing a good job of making her pretty creepy without having her like start to transform into anything. I keep expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep expecting the like
She'll get
face
kind of
to peel
monstery.
back, and there's like a scary animal face underneath or something.
Yeah. No,
Doesn't
I
make
think they
any
do
of
a
that
good
yet.
job making the butterflies threatening, and they're an
So
original villain.
Are they wearing like a human costume?
Yes.
Is
like
it that thing? Okay.
It's like they take over people. Yeah.
Oh, they take over people.
Yes, like this was.
So she was
This-
a person.
She was a person
And
at one
it is
point.
possessed. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems very on brand for Gunn.
Yeah, it's very Slither in that way. Yeah, so this is the Sonic Boom helmet.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all do something, and there's like quite a bit of variety. Yeah, because I was not expecting that going into this. I figured it would just be like, he has a mask, like in the movie.
No, that's fun. It gives him his own kind of personal brand of Batman gadgets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
What's hilarious about that to me is that it's a whole gimmick of one of my favorite Megazords. So I just keep imagining him wearing like Megazord helmets, because the Zeo Megazord has helmets that you can change on and off the head, and each helmet it has a different weapon associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
So
funny.
that's a running joke in the show that he uses again in the holiday special, is that Eagly constantly brings him little animals.
Oh,
Like
okay.
how Cosmo brings Kraglin like a rat or whatever.
Yeah, and it's this real heartfelt moment. It's disgusting.
Yeah, she brings him a ferret.
Well, once again, he's made something really well made that I can't get into yet. That I'm sure I will if I stick around and watch more of this.
Yeah, I think you'll probably like some of the sci-fi stuff, with the butterflies and things like that. I'm sure
Is there
you'll
going to be an
appreciate.
after credit scene?
Yeah, it's just like a
Oh.
joke thing. But...
I didn't even think to look at that. Well, I'll look at that later.
No, all the after credit scenes in the show are just extended gags. Like, it's just they take a moment that maybe had like a little bit more improv,
Okay.
and then yeah, because the last episode's one is a reprieve of the sarcastic voice thing, where it's Vigilante trying to teach everybody how to do a sarcastic voice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
but he's also like a sociopath, so he doesn't know how to like change his voice.
He is really, and I expected this, but maybe not to the degree that it goes in that first episode. He is really taking advantage of the fact that this is on TV now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
in like just how far he'll go with raunchy humor and language and stuff. Like he's doing all kinds of stuff that he couldn't get away with on the big screen, even with rated R. Like, and I don't mean get away with for rating or whatever. I mean, like he's, I don't know that if he could help himself, like guns pulling punches and stuff, but I just feel like a studio isn't gonna let him like say some of the things that he'd say in Super or something. He's getting a lot closer to that here.
Yeah, for sure. It probably helps. It's an HBO thing, or
Yeah.
HBO Max, but like it's still got that branding.
But he's just not afraid of offending anybody, and kind of ballsy, the guy that got canceled for 5 seconds over stuff he said on Twitter 10 years before. Like he's still not scared to say anything he wants to say. Like,
No, absolutely. No, and that's something I'm interested to see, like how that'll play into what his Superman is like. That he's not afraid to go to places. Like,
and it certainly feels like it's coming from character places. I don't know that it's gratuitous in the sense that, I mean, it is to some degree in that he finds that stuff funny and knows that other people do, and humor is subjective, whatever. I don't necessarily. It depends on the context. But
no, of course.
Like, I don't mean to be a prude about it. It's just a lot of that stuff is not inherently amusing to me. But it isn't gratuitous in the sense that he is like finding excuses to shove that into scenes with characters that it doesn't make sense to say those things. So like I'm sure because this was a thing I had with the Suicide Squad where I didn't like anybody right away. It took me too long to find like the heart in it and the camaraderie in it and everything that was there. And so this will probably be like that again, but will take longer because it's a whole show.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I'm really in for that, but anyway. I gotta say, after the Suicide Squad finally clicked into place for me, I was kind of excited about looking at this, and I'm a little in between now, like where I was before, where I didn't want to watch the show at all, because I'm like, I can't get excited about following this protagonist for the I just don't like this guy. I don't know, like it's not. I don't want to just keep saying this is not for me, this is not my thing, but I'm waiting for that thing to click in where I go, okay, this guy is really interesting, even though I don't like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't have to want to sit down and have lunch with you to find you an interesting protagonist to follow in a show. Like that's the Walter White thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wonder like how you'll like his arc, and I think that might be why. Whoever it was, I don't remember. That said it took them 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Because I think episode 3 is when you start to get the sense that he maybe doesn't want to do the Peacemaker thing anymore, where he's like, yeah, I don't really know if I like this aspect of myself. So like maybe that's what he was getting at, but I'd be interested to see what you think about.
So you start to find the humanity of the character more because he's got that ceiling he's hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you need that guy to have a breaking point somewhere, or he's just a sociopath.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the parallel with.
And you can tell the thing with his dad is setting that up.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of got to realize that, his dad's not a superhero.
Yeah, well, and there's that question in the Suicide Squad as to whether he's just using what he does as an excuse to, do violence to people.
Well, there's a good bit at the beginning when they're in the trailer when they recruit him, where he's like screw you guys, like you made me kill Flag, and they're like, no one made you kill Flag, like that was not in your mission orders, that was something you decided.
Yeah. And certainly nobody made him try to kill Ratcatcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he really didn't have to do that.
Yeah, no, exactly, that's when he goes full bad guy.
Well, I don't know when I'm gonna watch more of this. But I will continue to give it a shot and see where that click thing happens, because I'm sure it will.
Yeah, for sure.
No, and DNA, I don't expect that anything's by accident. It's just the experience I had with the Suicide Squad was it was tedious to get there. Where I'm like, I trust this creator, I just don't care yet. you know?
Yeah.
And that was me for the first hour of that movie the first time I saw it. And then I had that again on second viewing. And then third viewing was totally different. It's like I had to understand stuff before I liked it. And the only issue with that is you're not always going to be patient enough to keep giving it a thing multiple shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And so then sometimes it comes down to taste, where sometimes if a person really, doesn't like a thing, it's because it's not to their sensibilities in the first place. But if you tied them up and strapped them to a chair and made them keep watching it, they might eventually get there and might eventually get won over by it. And the question is that just Stockholm Syndrome, or...
You need to find the rat catcher of it all and the Rick Flag.
No, I'm not gonna watch any more of this tonight. I've got to go to bed, but I want to give the first episode a shot, and I did that, and I will watch more of it down the road. I don't want to keep talking over it, and I'll probably rewatch the first episode before I watch any more of it too. But
and I'm gonna keep going.
That intro song was amazing.
It's so good. It should be a crime to hit skip intro on this show.
Okay, well, I gotta get going, but I will be back again tomorrow night for the Captain Logan show at 7 Central, so if you're so inclined, I hope to see you there. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan. And Austin, thanks for doing this with me, man. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for surprising me with this.
Yeah, no problem. I knew you'd be excited about that. Mm-hmm. I dropped it on him seconds before we started.
Yeah, and like I said, I went.
Okay, bye everybody. See you later.
See ya.